Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And welcome to the 2016 Tribute to Fatherhood. We're honored that you made this your priority tonight. It is a blessing to have this level of support in our community for fathers. Before we introduce the Legacy Fathers of 2016, we would like to bring on stage the Legacy Fathers of previous years. This is our 5th Tribute to Fatherhood. And so the members of those classes are on the back of your program. If you look at the back of the program, you'll see the class of 2012 and 13 and 14 and 15. Not all the members of each class is present tonight, but those who are present or have a representative present, we're going to announce them and have them come forth and on stage, and you will be able to acknowledge them tonight. So the class of 2000, is there a drummer? Why isn't there a drummer here? Because we got stuff here. You know, who plays drums? Who do you? Come here. Yes, you. You see me looking at it. He says, Dad saying, not him, anybody but him. Huh? Come here. Oh, man, I can't get any of the kids to do this. I have to do it myself. Am I going to have to do it myself? Yes. Come on up here. Right here. I'll put you right here. Come on. Yes. What's your name? Clayton. All right, thank you, Clayton. Get right back here. You ever play these before? Let me see you hit one up. There you go. All right, that's what you want. Go like that. There you go. All right. Got it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The class of 2012, representing Frank McDonald, David McDonald, right here. David McDonald, class of 2012. Also, the class of 2012, Ron Apperson, accompanied with his wife, Debbie. Ron Apperson. Come on, Ron. Yes, sir. Come on across. Good. And then we have the class of 2013, Mr. Paul Law and his wife, Jane. Paul, come on in, Paul, and his wife, Jane. Good. And Bill Phillips, represented by his son, Kenneth Phillips. Come on in, Ken. Thank you. And Mike Nash and his wife, Helen, are the class of 2013. Excellent. Good. And Bill Mage and his wife, Tammy, are the class of 2013. Bill, welcome. How y'all like that drumming? Yeah. And the class of 2014, Mr. Bill Moyer and his wife, Vonda. Bill, come on down. And Ron Horn and his wife, Maria. Where are they? Here they come. Tom Quinn and his wife, Margaret, are here tonight. Tom Quinn and his wife, Margaret, the class of 2014. Come on in. And finally, the class of 2015, Bill Joseph and his wife, Becky. Bill Joseph and Becky. Come on in. And Bill Moore, who is represented by his son, Jeff. Bill Moore is represented by his son, Jeff. Fred Matthews, ladies and gentlemen, this is the class of 15. Richard McClellan, represented by his daughter, Aaron, Welch, and Mike are here. Aaron is here. Thank you. And finally, in the class of 2015 was James Burson and his wife, Jennifer. Jennifer. Give them a hand. Very good. Don't they look lovely? For the most part? And good. All right, hold on now, drummer. I'm going to need you now in a minute. Ready? So now, it pleases me and the board of Forever Dads, and I'd like the board of directors of Forever Dads, if they would, to please stand. All the board of directors of Forever Dads, would you please stand? Give them a hand for this event, planning this event, structuring it, and honoring these men. We have selected a group of men that we think epitomize fatherhood. This is not a Father of the Year contest or award. We wouldn't know how to identify the Father of the Year. There are some outstanding men doing incredible things with their children and their families and their communities, whether they're on law enforcement, whether they're in the military, or whether they're in the churches or in the schools teaching or coaching, wherever they are. Some phenomenal men in our community doing great things by their wives and by their children. These men we selected as men who represent fatherhood well, not only in their homes, but also in our communities. We are honored to induct 5 new inductees into the legacy of fatherhood. And here they are. The first father, I'm sorry, I needed a drum roll. Didn't I? Louder, a little louder on that drum roll. Ladies and gentlemen, inducted into the legacy of fatherhood, Don McKendry, accompanied by his wife, Jean. Don, where is he? The reason that we put Don first is Don was the principal of John Glenn. And in case you had to leave early, Don, for that game tonight, we wanted you to have first billing. Bill Straker, accompanied by his wife Ellen, is an honoree today. And Bill, where is Bill? Right here, Bill Straker right here, and his wife Ellen. Honored Bill. Posthumously, we are honoring tonight John Montgomery. John Montgomery will be represented by his wife Dorothy and his daughter Susan. Here they come. Susan and Dorothy Montgomery. The fourth honoree tonight is Phil Newman, accompanied by his wife Beverly. Phil? That's a nice picture of you, Phil. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Where's Beverly? There she is. All right. Good to see you, Bev. Finally, the class of 2016, ladies and gentlemen, Jack Downing, accompanied by his wife, Gwen. Jack Downing. Jack just came from Florida to be here. Isn't that good? Are you voting down there next week? Okay, all right, good. Thank you. The class of 2016, let's give them a hand. For those of you who were raised by your dad, how would you calculate the value or the benefit of that man in your life? We think it's incalculable. If you were to erase that father factor out of your world and out of your life, what would that look like? We think marketably different and not to the good. We honor men tonight. And we know you know that as an adult. Now that you're an adult, I know that you appreciate your dads. How many of you adults appreciate dad? How many of you appreciate dad? Yeah. Yeah. No, I know you say that today. I don't know what you said when you were 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Maybe not so much. But I want to demonstrate in a video how much you appreciated your dad even then when you were 5 and 7 and 12. Watch this video. These are men returning home from the service, and they're meeting up with their children. Watch this.
brought you something special for Christmas. The guy just delivered it. Whoa!
Thank you, Santa.
Merry Christmas!
Santa, I think you should give Mom a hug.
You gotta tell. Oh. You gotta tell Santa what you wish for Christmas.
Wait!
I guess it's time to come in.
I told you guys.
It wasn't as blood curdling as the last time.
It's working out, but I don't know if it will.
I knew it.
Emily raced in the pack first. And then seconds later, the Ebert family is holding. Muffled sobs from the chest of this Marine say it all. Although after the reunion, the girls gave it their best shot.
When I'm recording, you're surprised. All right, ready?
One.
Stand that way. Right there, yeah, that works. On the count of 3, take it off. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
When did you get so tall?
So is it worth wearing this stupid mask?
It's so hot. How come you're wearing this?
Because it's freezing in my glasses.
Have you been able to see him yet?
No, not yet, because I was in Canada when he got back, so I'll see him this Christmas, and it's something really close to my heart. I'm really lucky.
I love you. I love you. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Love you too.
I miss you. I'm back.
Hi, my name is Hannah Escher. I'm 10 years old and I go to Randolph Elementary School. My dad, Master Sergeant Joe Myers, is in Iraq right now. I can kiss away the pain.
A familiar face.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And a warm embrace.
I can't even describe it. It's just the perfect scenario right there. Perfect scenario.
Just a second. Jessica's father called me. Jessica has a brother in Afghanistan that she wishes to be here today. I know what that's like. My wife and I had a son in Iraq in the Marines. And Jessica, when you see your brother.
And do you love your daddy? Guess what, Bailey?
To do the honor of the invocation today, we have asked Danny Williams, who is the American Legion Post 29 chaplain, to come and provide the invocation for this program tonight. Danny?
I ask you to bow your heads, please. God of all creation, we come before you today to give you honor and praise. You are worthy of praise. You are the source of all that is good. You are the source of all our blessings. Thank you for every gift that we have been given. We thank you for the opportunity to come and gather together this evening. We ask for your hand of blessing on this event. Wish you would guide and direct our event so that it is full of wisdom, productivity, and respect for one another. Thank you for helping us to accomplish our work and our goals this day. Amen. Thank you.
Good evening. As I shared with the honorees and the class members, this is the Super Bowl of fatherhood. Thank you for being a part of our game. This evening, we want the opportunity to say thank you to those who support our work. And this evening, if Michelle Danielson would come forth. Michelle's coming tonight. She's representing the Mental Health and Recovery Services Board. We thank them for their financial support to the work that we're doing, engaging in the lives of fathers and families, and especially the focus on those that are re-entering our community who've been incarcerated. And we thank them for how they are providing financial support to help us in that staffing. And for that reason, this evening we present to them the footsteps of fatherhood.
Thank you very much. We had our board of directors meeting tonight, so our director, Vicki Hare, could not be here, but she wants to let you know that we believe in all that the Forever Dads are doing, and we thank you very much.
Thank you. The next presentation that we want to give this evening, Elizabeth Jackson, if you would come forth. We call her Beth. As Beth is making her way, I want to share with you on a personal note that consistently she is there at every board meeting and Make It Happen Now committee meeting. She donates to Forever Dads, and in so many ways she's always looking out for who we are and what's happening in our world. As you can see here, this award is presented to Elizabeth Beth Jackson, the 2015 Service Above Self. It's in honor of the individual of Muskingum County who has demonstrated the vision, energy, and selflessness to further the work and mission of Forever Dads. On behalf of Forever Dads, we give you this recognition. Thank you.
I want to thank Forever Dads for this award. It's quite an honor, but I totally support what Forever Dad stands for. My husband died at age 40, and I had 2 teenage sons to raise. And I know the importance of a father in a child's life, but I also know the importance of a father figure. So men, I challenge each and every one of you, if you have a neighbor, kid without a dad, invite him to a basketball game. Do something.
Thank you, Bill. Mary Jane Shackelford, if you would come forward. Early on, one of her staff members, Rob Nichols, joined our board of directors. And then along the way, something happened in the magic of that. And tonight we want to thank you. And our way of doing that is to honor you for the Director's Award. It's presented in recognition of the leadership which has demonstrated strong partnership support through their resources and influence to the furtherance of the work and mission of Forever Dads. You have definitely put us up in lights, and we thank you for that. And on behalf of Forever Dads, we present to you the Director's Award for 2015.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ben. Thank you. And I think it was probably, Burl, about 10 years ago that you came into my office, and I'm like, I have to meet this guy because he actually has the same first name as my grandfather. So I thought that was pretty cool. But when he explained his concept and his vision, I thought that was just absolutely amazing because there are so many good groups in Zanesville, Muskingum County that do great things, but fatherhood was something that we haven't really addressed. And so I'm very proud of you for doing an awesome job, and this program has so much evolved into something beautiful. And you're right, I have to give a shout out. Rob Nichols, give your big wave there. He's the man that does all the work. So I'm collecting this, but he's the man that does all the work. So thank you very much.
Thank you, and Barnes Advertising. Every organization has board members, and some of those you can see, past board members who have received this. But Ben Hess is critical in this component of recognizing the President's Award. Michael Steen, would you come forth? As you can read in the program there, this guy has stepped on the scene. Yes, sir. He has stepped on the scene in so many ways, engaging so many community partners to grow us to who we're becoming today. For this award, it's in recognition of a board member who has best demonstrated diligence to the vision of Forever Dads and has personally, oh yes, and professionally demonstrated strong leadership to our success. It is our privilege this evening to recognize you with this President's Award for 2015.
I just want to thank the board for this wonderful award. I just walked around the room a little bit ago and I've shook hands with probably 100 people that are certainly more deserving than I of this thing. But to make the world right, I'd like to use this brief time to pay you forward. Hopefully this will hit many of you personally. My involvement in Forever Dads was actually driven by my father. He had passed when I was 12 years old, and that's a tough time to lose your father. But before he did, he was able to show me what service to others means. He came back from World War II as a 101st Airborne paratrooper. He fought in the Battle of the Bulge. His health was never right from the time he got back because of ulcers. But he made time to be the mayor of Morrill, Ohio, the town I grew up in. It had 500 people in it, and he was the mayor for 25 years. He got $100 a year for that job and truly took care of all the townsfolk. That's what you did when you were the mayor. He was also captain of the volunteer fire department. Now, in our town, our motto was save the foundation. If any of you are used to volunteer fire departments, it can be tough at times. But at 8 years old, he allowed me to ride those trucks and help broom grass fires. I think I might have become the firehouse mascot for everybody, but I was always happy when the horn sounded that I'd get to ride the truck again with my father. So service and leadership. I'd be willing to bet there are many of you out there that also lost your fathers early. I'd like you to ponder this as I have. Why do we serve? There's lots of great reasons, but maybe, just maybe, if you dig deeper like I have, you'll find out that even at 60, I want to serve others, most of all, to make my dad proud of me. Thank you so much.
This is the very first award that we ever began giving out. It's the 2015 Ron Apperson All-Pro Dad Award. When you find someone in your community that's willing to serve, who's a dad, willing to serve other dads, and make a difference, probably someone that best represents that and has been doing that for a little while now, Mr. Jesse Root. The 2015 Ron Apperson All-Pro Dad Award is a community individual who has demonstrated the greatest example of support to our father-engaging programs, activities, and events, which has assisted Forever Dads towards abolishing father absence and restoring men as healthy parents for their children. Jesse Root.
I'd like to thank everyone at Forever Dads for nominating and selecting me for this award. Congratulations to all the new legacy nominees and their families. I'd like to thank my wife. I can't be an all-pro dad without an all-pro mother and wife. My mother and father as well. And lastly, my Heavenly Father. It's my prayer that I would love my children the way that He loves them, and I pray that we would all make that our prayer. Thank you.
Jane Richardson, find your way forward. This is a lady whose heart goes beyond the walls of any institution. As a classroom teacher, she served us early on when we were doing programming in the high schools. When we were looking for someone to serve in the Juvenile Detention Center, again to address mature fatherhood, she said she would. And tonight, on behalf of Forever Dads, Jane Richardson, we honor you as the individual who passionately serves in the present with clear vision for the future, expanding and empowering the work and mission of Forever Dads. That is Jane Richardson.
I want to thank you. The children seem to very much appreciate me going there to work with them every week. 80-20. 80% we've determined our children do not have an adult in their homes to teach them values, morals, and life management. Therefore, they don't have good decision or life skills, decision-making or life skills. And these children need engaged, loving families who matter.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Before we leave the stage, I'm really privileged to have a president as Ben who has led our organization, and we've gone through all kinds of changes. But truly, his leadership, his wisdom, his voice to be a phone call away, I just want to say in front of all this crowd, thank you for being who you are. And I want to give you an opportunity if you'd like to share with them, and I'm going to go to my seat.
I am going to kill you for this. He didn't warn me about this. I'm not prepared for anything to say other than I really appreciate everybody taking the time to come out tonight, recognize these gentlemen who we're honoring tonight, and look to them as mentors as we continue to grow this community and recognizing the importance of fatherhood in their lives. So thank you all for being here tonight. Please enjoy your dinner. We'll let you guys enjoy that in peace for a little while. Thank you very much for being here.
I also want to acknowledge the sponsors for the Tribute to Fatherhood, and they are throughout the program. There are various levels of sponsors, and you'll see them. There's silver sponsors, and there are media sponsors. I would like to acknowledge the media sponsors that are here tonight who give upwards of $2,000 and $2,500 for this project. The Kessler Sign Company is here. Kessler Sign Company. And Barnes Advertising is here. Barnes. And WYBZ 107.3, are they somewhere? And the Times Recorder Media Group, Times Recorder Media is here. And the WHIZ Media Group, that's who that is, WHIZ Media Group. The gold sponsors, Community Bank, gold sponsor, tried and true, Community Bank. Mattingly Foods, a gold sponsor, Mattingly. And Zane State College, gold sponsors. The gold sponsors sponsor this program at a $2,500 gift. Thank you all very much. Finally, we have a platinum sponsor. And here to acknowledge the platinum sponsor is Forever Dad's Executive Director, Burl Lemon. Burl?
If you were here last year, you probably saw something that was rather small, had a lot of meaning. But this year we wanted to make sure that this message got out very clear. Mr. Jeff Drennan, please come up.
I'd like to introduce, this is my daughter Evie. She's 13, and she wanted to come with me tonight. I told her we're going to have a great time, and so far she says so good, until she saw the bat. Now she's a little concerned.
Jeff, last year we presented you a bat, a little on the small side, and I said to Larry Good, I want a bat big enough that this whole crowd's going to see it, because on behalf of Forever Dads, we are winning it for the kids. And we appreciate your continued support. And every year we're just going to keep adding labels to that has the years on there. We thank you for who you are, for what you do, and even tonight for living out who we are as an organization.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now, you can't leave. Stay right there. I've got an assignment here. I just thought of this, you know. This is a bat, and how many of y'all play baseball? Good, so does Eli. So now, I don't know which one of you are going to use this bat, test this bat. You could give it to her, or you could do this. But I got a ball player right here, Eli. Eli, get that mitten and glove there. Oh, boy. And so he's going to pitch that to one of you. I don't know what you're going to do with it. Batter up. And he's going to pitch it and see what you can do. What position you play? Second? All right. Well, nice, you're pitching. All right, now you can bunt, you know. You can, whatever you want to do, you know. All right. Now don't break it. I'm calling balls and strikes. You only get one pitch.
Kodak moment.
No fastballs. All right, you ready? All right, batter up. Here we go. Yeah! I guess there is one final award. Monica Mahona is here from the Ohio Commission on Fatherhood. The Ohio Commission on Fatherhood is an organization in the state of Ohio that funds Forever Dads. And they give us about $100,000 every year. Representing them tonight, Kim Dent is the executive director. Monica Mahoney is here tonight representing that organization. Monica has a presentation. Come on up, Monica.
Please. Thank you, James.
Took her 3 hours, you told me, didn't you?
Yes, 3 hours, everybody. Thank God you don't live in Columbus, but it was worth the drive. I am so amazed to see the turnout for this event. Our executive director, as he mentioned, is Kim Dent, and she usually has the honor of being at this event and has always raved about it. I brought my phone with me because I got to take a picture of this with my panoramic lens and post it on our website. As James mentioned, we do fund Forever Dads. We fund many programs throughout the state of Ohio. But since the beginning, Forever Dads has been a trailblazer. And just look around this room. This speaks volumes to the impact that Burl and the people he surrounds himself with have had in your community. And we just wanted to take a moment to recognize that in front of all of his supporters, because I know Burl is one of the most gracious people I know, always recognizing people for their contribution and their potential. I was struck, I've seen him in prisons presenting graduation awards to fathers who are also inmates, and he treats them with the same dignity and respect as he treated the gentleman with the 10-foot bat. And that just speaks volumes to the kind of person that Burl is. He really is exceptional, and you are very fortunate to have him as a leader in your community. So I want to just present this certificate of appreciation to Burl in recognition of the exemplary service to fathers and families that he and Forever Dads have given and continue to give to families throughout the state of Ohio. He has provided support, resources, and services to promote the positive involvement of fathers in their children's lives. So if you could all join me in thanking Burl for everything he does.
And now we come to the most important celebration of this evening. We induct 5 men into the legacy of fatherhood. Here's how we do that. We will watch a video tribute of each honoree with people in the video, friends and family members, talking about the impact that you men have had in their lives. And then we'll ask a member of the family to come, and we will present you with 3 things. We will give you a citation from the state, one from Troy Boulderson, the Senate, one from Brian Hill, and one from Bill Johnson. We also are presenting you tonight with a book, Stories and Art by Mary Ann Busey. Is Mary Ann here? Mary Ann, stand up, Mary. Wave, there she is right in the back, Mary Ann. This is a must-have book, and all of you get one of these books. If you've, and many of you have already gotten one and purchased it, and you might get it and give it to someone that you love. But thank you, Mary Ann, for this book. Mary Ann brought some extra copies, and so if you want them, I'll be selling them at the end of the day. But thank you, Mary, for this gift to Forever Dads. Finally, all of you will receive what is our trademark. We have commissioned someone, where is her name? Josette Davison, to paint a collage of the honorees every year, and she has done so for this year. So I'm going to ask Nicole Anderson to come up here. Nicole Anderson from the Noble Correction Center, and she's going to unveil for us this. Nicole, I bring her up here because at the Noble Correction, she is the Employer of the Year. Employer of the Year. Thank you. You're going to get it for this?
Yeah.
And so this is the unveiling of the portrait that all of you will get. Nicole? Here it is. Now, you just take it. It's up here, but here it is. You'll see this, and your portrait is on there. So you'll get one of these as a family member when you come to accept the legacy induction. Let's begin. Our first honoree tonight will be Don McKendry. Let's watch his video.
Don is the son of Lester and Charlotte McKendry and was born at Bethesda Hospital in Zanesville. He graduated from Muskingum College and earned a graduate degree in education from Ohio University. Don's career has been primarily in education, starting as a math teacher at East Muskingum Junior High and advancing to John Glenn High School principal. He became the Director of Alumni Relations at Muskingum College and Special Assistant to the President. In addition, he was the Executive Director of the John and Annie Glenn Museum Foundation. He has received numerous awards: the Muskingum County Community Foundation Ray Thomas Award, the Muskingum University Distinguished Alumni Award, the Village of New Concord Dedicated Public Servants Award. He was inducted into the John Glenn High School Athletic Hall of Fame, New Concord Area Board of Trade Citizen of the Year, East Muskingum Schools Distinguished Alumni Award, and Phi Delta Kappa Educator of the Year. He is a member of the New Concord United Methodist Church, New Concord Lions Club, Muskingum University Athletic Boosters, and the John and Annie Glenn Museum Foundation. Don married Jean Welker, and they have 2 children, Craig and Julie. They have 3 grandchildren. Now, in his spare time, he solves puzzles to keep his mind sharp. His wife has said he has failed in retirement.
In the 15 years that I've known Don, he's taught me a lot about what it means to be family. He's been an amazing father-in-law and has taught me a lot about unconditional love. He's an amazing grandfather. He spends so much quality time with his grandchildren and is one of the most generous people that I've ever met.
Whether it was seeing how he led by example at school, at home, or at church, or in the community, I've always kind of been watching what he has done and made note of it, so I've been able to use it as I've gone through my career, which early on wasn't in education but now is, and now I've got a chance to be a leader in educational setting, and I draw upon things that I watched him do for years and years and years to help me in my day-to-day job.
No one wanted to disappoint Mr. McKendry. Of course it happened on occasion, but no one wanted that to happen twice. He did run a pretty tight ship, but I think most would agree that he was firm but fair, which really is how a high school principal should be. He really cared about all his students. He wanted them to be successful and to go on and live happy, productive lives.
He gave us time, was involved in everything we've done, or was involved in everything we did as kids. And I've tried to pass that on to my 3 children.
It's hard for me to talk about my family without getting emotional, especially my dad. The lessons that he has taught just will always carry over into everything that I do.
Well, I'm sorry I can't be there in person to help honor Don McKendry, because I know of no one that exemplifies a higher level of family and community than Don. He sets a pattern that all the rest of us can follow.
I am happy and proud to have been on this journey with you for almost 52 years. The lives you have touched have been many at East Muskingum Schools, Muskingum University, and the John and Annie Glenn Museum. The most important ones are our 2 children, Craig and Julie, and the journey of watching them become adults. They have learned that the family bond needs to be strong because of the example that you set for them.
He's touched a lot of lives and he's helped a lot of people, but through it all, family has been the most important to him, and so for him to be recognized for that is really great.
Don, I want to congratulate you for this. You were my principal growing up, so I never wanted to get sent to the office, but I ended up marrying your daughter, and you let me have her hand in marriage. So I want to say thank you, and that's all I've got.
Tonight, Mr. McHenry, I cannot think of a better person to receive such an award. When I think back of the thousands of students that you served as a mentor or a father type figure, that's just simply amazing to me. So congratulations on a well-deserved award, and may God continue to bless you and your family.
You're an amazing person, Don, and congratulations. I love you.
So Dad, I want to say congratulations on receiving this award. You are very deserving.
It has been a joy to watch you bloom where you have been planted.
So, Don, congratulations and best wishes to all of you attending. And sorry I couldn't be there, but glad to add my little bit to this in helping honor Don McHenry.
Thank you, James. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much. This is quite a humbling evening. I don't feel that I'm any more deserving than hundreds and hundreds of other fathers, but someone nominated me and I appreciate that. I want to thank the ForeverDads organization. It's a great thing they're doing. Having spent my life in education, I know how important fatherhood is in our youngsters growing up. I want to thank Burl, James McDonald, the board of directors, and Michael Steen. When he told me I'd received this award, I couldn't believe it, but I do appreciate it very much. Congratulations also to Phil and Bill, Jack and John Montgomery. Those were great people, and they're very deserving of this. As you can see from that video, the best way to be a good dad is to have good kids. That makes it a lot easier. And it wasn't always easy for them. I'm going to take just one moment here, and I won't talk all night. I know some of the people from Muskingum and John Glenn are saying, well, here he goes. I won't do that. Put yourself back when you're 14 years old, or you're 15 or 16. You're going to school every day. What's the worst thing that could happen if you go every day? Your dad's there. And not only is he there, he's in charge of the school. Not only is he there, but when your buddies get in trouble, he's the one that disciplines them. And not only that, he's there at every basketball game, every football game, every musical award event. And it makes it very tough for kids to grow up. But Craig and Julie did a great job, and we're very proud of them. I'm also proud of Mike and Marcy, and of course, the three apples of Papa's eye, his grandkids. And one of them, Clayton, the oldest there, was the drummer. I didn't realize he was a drummer, but I see tonight he is. And I'm not leaving out Jean. As she mentioned in the video, 52 years ago, I made the smartest decision I ever made in my life. I've made some bad ones, but that was a good one. And I hope she thinks that's been a good decision as well. She truly was the person that they wrote the song about, The Wind Beneath My Wings. While I was out front emceeing events and speaking and getting awards, she was behind the scenes, holding the family together, doing all the drudgery kind of things that have to be done. And I wouldn't be here tonight without her. I also did not get here by myself. I was going to use a story, and Helen Ritchie stole it before I got a chance to use it. And some of you may have seen that this week. If you see a turtle on top of a fence post, you know somebody helped him get there. He didn't get there by himself. And that's the reason I'm here tonight, because a lot of people helped me get here. First, I was well educated in the New Concord schools. I suppose back then we were poor. We didn't know we were. We were the same as everybody else. But I stayed at home because I lived in New Concord and went to Muskingum College and got a great degree from Muskingum, and that prepared me to go on with my life. I've always said that Muskingum takes common people and makes them into uncommon people. And I'm so happy tonight to have a contingent from Muskingum College represented here tonight. And I'm also very happy that my son and daughter, in addition to my sister and my wife, all of us got to experience Muskingum College. And I was pleased to be able to return to those two institutions, to provide something for them, hopefully, to pay back for some that they gave me. I spent 28 years at John Glenn, 22 as principal, and then 13 years as the alumni director at Muskingum College, now university. But I never had a job, because you only have a job if you don't enjoy what you're doing. And those 28 years were a real pleasure. And the 15 years I've been at the John and Ann Glenn Historic Site, that's the first time I've seen John out in several months. He'll be 95 years old. Annie's 96. They've been married 74 years. His health is failing him, but it's been a true privilege to work and build a museum to a guy like John Glenn. There's going to be other astronauts, but there's never going to be another first American to orbit the Earth, and he's ours. He's from here. And my 75 years of going to the New Concord United Methodist Church hasn't hurt me either. I hope all of you realize, I certainly do, the church isn't a haven for saints. It's a hospital for sinners, and I go every week and get repaired. So allow me just one moment to talk about ForeverDads. And I know they put me first because you put me last. There isn't enough oxygen left for everybody to talk. I understand that. But ForeverDads is just what they're doing is very admirable and very much needed. As a person who spent their life dealing with kids, whether it's from 7th graders up to 22-year-old college kids, and they're all still kids, many issues, generally speaking, have been caused because there wasn't a father's presence in the home. Now, I don't mean to put down mothers, I don't mean to put down anybody. Mothers, God bless them, love their kids with all their heart, and they should. But fathers love their kids with their mind. And they understand what I always refer to as a principle as the 18-inch rule. There's 18 inches difference between a pat on the back and a swat on the behind. And fathers generally discern which one kids need, maybe just a little better than moms do, because mom's always got that love right there. So if we had more people, more fathers in the homes, and somebody here earlier this evening mentioned the lack of what percent of fathers weren't in homes, I think we would have less problems than we have today. And what this group is doing, if it were done statewide and nationwide, would really make a difference. I finally have two rules that I learned to live by and helped me get to where I am. One was from my dad and one was from my mom. My dad's was a work ethic. It was 3 sentences, 9 words long. That's all it was. First sentence was do it. The second sentence was do it right. And the third sentence was do it right now. That's what my dad taught me. And my mom taught me an even better moral compass when she said, right's right, even if nobody else is doing it, and wrong's wrong, even if everybody else is doing it. And you stop and think about that, and if we had a few more of those rules in the homes today, things might be a little better. Thank you for this honor. Thank you to ForeverDads and to all the people that put this together. It's a great evening, and I'm so honored and privileged to be here. And one final thought, go Muskies.
Thank you so much, Don. Our next honoree for tonight is Mr. Bill Straker. Mr.
Bill
Straker
is the son of B. Roberts and Margaret Straker. He was born in Lima, Ohio. He graduated from Lash High School and from Ohio State University with a bachelor's degree in petroleum engineering. In 1991, he received the honorary associate's degree of public service from MATC. He joined the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers in 1943 and as a commissioned officer, served at various stations in the United States and in the occupation of Japan in 1946. In 1951, Bill married Mary Helen Cleary, and they have 4 children: Susan, John Jr., Jane, and Ann. They have 8 grandchildren and 6 great-grandchildren, with 1 on the way. Bill was president and general manager of Oxford Oil Company until he retired in 1986. He was director of the National Gas and Oil Corporation, now the Energy Cooperative. He also served the company as president and CEO and was elected chairman of the board, serving until 1991. He is a long-term trustee of the Ohio Oil and Gas Association and was inducted into the Ohio Oil and Gas Hall of Fame. Bill was founding chairman of the Muskingum Area Technical College Foundation, now Zane State College, and one of the founding directors of the Muskingum County Community Foundation. In 2012, he received the Dick Johnson Award from the Muskingum County Community Foundation. He and Mary Helen formed the J.W. and M.H. Straker Charitable Foundation, which has dispersed funds to charitable organizations throughout Muskingum County for over 22 years. He is a member of Grace United Methodist Church. He is a former Zanesville City Councilman and a former director of First National Bank. Woodworking and fishing have been the ways he's spent his leisure time.
He's intelligent, principled, generous, and humble, and those are only a few. But as a father in my childhood, he was also caring, supportive, encouraging, and protective.
If I could use one word to describe Preet, it would be devoted. Everything that I've seen out of Preet, the years that I've known him, and all the stories that I've heard about him and from him, all center around that same fact that Preet, he's been a devoted husband for many years. He's been a devoted father and family member for many, many years. He's devoted to his children, his grandchildren, and his great-grandchildren.
From the mid-70s, when there were 7 of us, to last Thanksgiving, when our group numbered 29, we come from all over the United States to gather together to be together. There is no time I see my dad more happy than when he's sitting at the head of this Thanksgiving table.
Preet really knew how to treat a grandson in a way that I will never forget. And while he encouraged all of those sort of adventurous parts of a boy's spirit, he also was very patient with me and modeled that patience very well.
But he truly has become one of the most beloved figures in my life. Such a role model. I came into the family later in life at age 55, but I very quickly found it so easy to identify with him as a grandfather.
When I asked for his daughter Ann's hand in marriage, Bill had to travel from Zanesville to Columbus to meet me, the young guy that was trying to ask for his permission to marry Ann. Bill impressed on me at that point how important family was to him, both by his words at that dinner and by the fact that he was willing to come meet me because of my travel schedule.
Bill and Mary Helen Straker welcomed me into their family when I asked them for permission to marry their daughter Jane. Since then, I've come to know Bill as a successful, industrious, forward-thinking businessman, but at the same time, humble, caring, unassuming, and deeply committed to the well-being of his entire extended family and his community.
I would describe Preet as generous because of all of the amazing opportunities he's given to my family.
He really thinks about what he says. Whenever I've asked him a question or asked him for advice, he's really, taken a couple days and thought about it and given me really measured response and really, really great advice, which I've always appreciated.
Daddy's philosophy for raising children was more about being a good provider and instilling in us the same high standards, morals, and values that were passed on to him by his own parents.
My dad and my mom have shown me the value of living below one's means.
It seems like such a simple thing to do, but many people struggle with this.
He has always been extremely generous to his family and to the community at large, and that has set a great example for his children and his grandchildren to give to each other and to also give back to their communities.
So whenever you have a problem with Preet, he will often sit there and just listen and take it all in. And if you have a conversation with him, you will talk 95% of the time most often, or you'll listen to everybody talk 95% of the time. And then at the end, he'll have a few things to say, and they're generally pretty spot on. And then you go about your business.
I describe Preet as a leader because when he talks, everyone listens.
He is kind of known for being a fixer, an engineering genius, a creative mastermind, and that's always been so inspiring to me. As a woman who wants to go into science, he has been one of my biggest cheerleaders.
Today, I can say I'm proud of the person I've become because of the influence my father has had on my character, and I'm extremely grateful to him for that.
I'm going to be looking to the things that Preet taught me growing up as a kid, and especially the ways in which he really loved his grandkids and was generous with his grandkids. I'm just very thankful to have Preet as a grandfather.
Bill showed me a lot about what it means to be a father, what is important about family.
Like my own father, Bill has shared his success in life graciously and without hesitation with his family, his community, his country, and his church. Other things that I've learned from my dad were patience, to be honest, to be fair. He taught me how to lead and how to follow. Taught me to be humble, not vain, to appreciate the value others bring to the table when making a decision.
A core value that Preet has instilled in me is the value of hard work and also humility. I'm incredibly honored to be Preet's granddaughter and so proud of him and would like to congratulate him for receiving such a special honor.
If I could describe Preet in only one word, it would be reflective.
Congratulations, Preet, for an honor well deserved.
We love you, Preet, and congratulations.
Preet, thank you for living such a quiet but influential life.
Congratulations.
So Dad, congratulations on your honor, and best to you in the future.
Congratulations, and with all my heart, I love you.
Congratulations, Daddy. I love you.
Good evening, all. It is a great honor to be selected as a member of the Band of Five for this evening's celebration of the ForeverDads organization. In the past 25 years, I have been blessed to receive many awards, but not one of those is as important to me as the one I am to receive tonight. Being a father is a privilege in itself, and you have to wonder what shapes you as a father. In my own case, I immediately think of my father and how he shaped his own family of 4 boys and 1 girl. I was the oldest, and there were times when I thought my parents were learning how to raise kids by experimenting on me. Nevertheless, it was my good fortune to have a great father and mother who was able to pass on to me much of the information I would need as I grew older. In addition to honor, honesty, integrity, and character, he made sure I understood the reason why I should never borrow money other than to buy a house or a car or a truck, which I might use in my work. We did not have credit cards in those days, so he did not have to go into the problems that lurked when they did show up in everyone's wallet. During the years I was in the oil and gas business, I experienced 3 downturns and the one that is going on today. They all occurred when promoters and producers had too much money borrowed with the inability to service their debt. In closing, I applaud the ForeverDads organization for emphasizing and perpetuating the importance fathers are to the social fabric of society.
John Montgomery is our next honoree, right down front and in the center. Watch the screen, please.
John Montgomery is the son of Charles and Margaret Klein Montgomery and was born in 1931 in Fairfield County. John passed away in 2014. John graduated from high school in 1948, the Ohio State University in 1952, and the University of Wisconsin School of Banking in 1971. He served as a first lieutenant in the United States Air Force from 1953 to 1955. He worked for Citizens National Bank from 1955 until he retired in 1977. John was involved in many civic endeavors: East Muskingum Water Authority, the Wilds, J.C.'s, United Way, Chamber of Commerce, Red Cross, Downtown Association, Zane Trace Commemoration, Gideon's, Ruritan, Farm Bureau, Grange, and Hospice Follies. John was an active member of Ark Spring Baptist Church for over 60 years. He served 61 years as advisor of the Muskingum County 4-H Junior Leadership Club. He served 4 years on staff of 4-H Camp Ohio. He and Dorothy Culbertson were married in 1953. They had 2 daughters, Nancy Jane and Susan. They have 2 grandsons. John wholeheartedly supported his wife by attending many community functions when she served as Muskingum County Commissioner. John loved calling square dances for both young and old, and he will always be remembered for his wooden ties.
He was a second father to many of the youth that came through Muskingum County 4-H, especially the junior leaders. Spent a lot of time. He did recreation programs for them. He was always available, always willing to listen, and I think that was an important part of it. He was always willing to listen and take time with these kids.
Got to watch John and Dorothy take all the 4-H children into their home and mentor them and go on camping trips. We would go to Washington, D.C., Niagara Falls. They would treat us like their own. And John passed. I thought it was appropriate that he was with all the 4-H at a 4-H dinner and was with everybody that he helped and mentored and got to see.
John was also a very spiritual person, and you didn't go through any kind of a meal without having a prayer beforehand, and I thought that was an important part of an input into many of the youth's understanding of life.
He was invested in the community. He was invested in every person, I think, that crossed his path, and he added so much to the lives of those people that were privileged to meet him.
So he did a lot to teach and influence my life, and I considered him my second father growing up. Just that positive attitude and influence in my life has just influenced us greatly. And now, you know, he was very proud of his grandchildren and what their future can hold, and hopefully we can pass on some of that from John to them.
I don't know of any event, activity, concert, race that my dad did not attend. He was very protective, and he gave me roots and he gave me wings. He told me every time that I talked to him my entire life that he loved me. He worshiped my mother and he worshiped God, and he would tell anybody at any time that was interested to know, or even if they weren't interested to know, he would tell them about his love of God and his love for his family.
But she was right. John worshiped his girls. In fact, he did that so much that he retired from banking so he could do extra things with them. He loved his workshop, he loved his church, and he loved people.
He was quite a gentleman. And has love and family is great. Pat, James, and the boys. I can't say enough about the family.
Family was the most important thing, I think, to John. God first and family second. And he was a person who lived it. It wasn't just lip service. And I am immensely thankful that me and my family were part of that extended family of theirs.
But John was a very big influence on my life as I grew up. I truly miss John very much, and I always love you.
John meant so much to many of us, and I think we all carry away a little piece of his love and his faith.
He and Dorothy together, and I don't think you can talk about John without talking about Dorothy, because they set an example for what kind of things that a good family that had spent time with their children and also contributed to the community. So he really spent a lot of time with setting that example for people to see, understand, and hopefully emulate.
Just come right here, Dorothy, if you can get, no, you're good, stay right there. Can you all see her? Dorothy Montgomery.
James, thank you. I can only imagine how thrilled John would be to be here this evening with you and to see this room full of supporters of the Forever Dad program. I can well remember when it was first mentioned. James McDonald, you talked about this program we were going to establish in Muskingum County and how badly it was needed, how badly it is needed. And I can only say thank you for the leadership that you and many others. I'm just sorry that we have to teach some young men how to be fathers, but some of them have never experienced that in their life, have they? And I really wish that our curriculum in schools allowed us to do basic parenting. We desperately need it. Many of you will know that John and I were married 18 years before we had children. Now, some of you would say we were slow learners. However, we enjoyed our nieces and our nephews and our 4-H kids. John was so proud of the leadership that he sees not only within this community, but within our state and nation as well, of his 4-H kids. They have done so, so well. And after 18 years, Nancy came along. And I've often heard John say, as he held her that first afternoon, I used to think that I knew what it was like to be in love. And now I know, as he looked down upon her. And just as an antidote, after all that time, we were 40 years old. And at that time, fathers were supposed to be allowed to visit any time at the hospital. And as he just found it very difficult to stay at the bank, he wanted to be at the hospital. And he proceeded to walk down the hallway, and one of the nurses stopped him and said, Sir, visiting hours aren't until whatever they were. And he said, oh, I thought fathers could come anytime. And she said, well, yes, but not grandfathers. He was so proud of Nancy and Susan and their accomplishments. And as we said, he retired early from the bank so he could play with them. And the trips that we took with our 4-H kids. I just cannot say thank you enough to our community, which he loved. Ron Busey, he loved living in Zanesville. He really enjoyed his time here. And as a husband, he was top-notch. Not all the time, but most of the time. And you noticed, after 61 years, the wedding pictures, that he had hair. Well, something happened to it. But it was a delightful 61 years that we had together. And as David Frame said, I've just often thought that his passing was orchestrated so perfectly by our God. He was within a room full, as this room is tonight, probably 300 or 400 4-Hers. Got to enjoy every bit of that fellowship and a lovely meal, and went home, fell down, and that was it. He was with his friends and favorite people right up to the last minute. Thank you for being there always for us. And thank you for being here this evening. And to those of you who support the Fatherhood Initiative, keep it up, please. It's desperately needed. As someone in Don McHenry's interview said, it's just not good in so many, many ways if a child does not have the presence of a father in a home to set the pace. John would want you to go out and do whatever you can to serve your God to make the best better. Thank you for this lovely evening.
Love you. Love
Thank you for your good leadership in our community. I know Jim and Jerry appreciate your legacy and the connection with all. Come up with me, please, Susan. I'll give you this
plaque, and you just stand right here, because you know what to say.
The boys wanted me to tell you that Papa John taught them to eat ice cream. So he did leave a legacy. Thank you, Jim.
Our next honoree tonight is Mr. Phil Newman. Please watch the video.
Phil Newman is the son of Sarah Margaret and Delbert S. Newman Sr. He was born in Zanesville in 1941. Phil married Beverly Brown on August 6, 1960. They have reared 5 children: Debbie, Cheryl, Beverly, Kay, Carl, and Jennifer. They have 7 grandchildren and 7 great-grandchildren. Phil has had a long and diverse career in Muskingum County. His first job was at Line Material Company. He then joined the Zanesville Police Department to keep our community safe, and later worked for the Ohio Youth Commission, helping troubled young people. He was employed as manager of Hart Stores for several years before being hired by the Ohio Department of Transportation, where he became ODOT County Manager. Phil loved playing baseball, where he made many of his lifelong friends. He played semi-pro baseball with the Community Center and the Zanesville Pioneers. Phil was inducted into the Muskingum County Old Timers Baseball Hall of Fame. He was honored by the Zanesville Civic League for acquiring properties and leading the fundraising for construction of the new Zanesville Community Center. He received an award by the United States Postmaster for outstanding community services. Phil grew up in Pentecostal Apostolic Church on Keene Street. He served on the Zanesville City Board of Education. He is past president of the Zanesville Esquires and past president of the Zanesville Civic League. Phil currently serves on the executive board of the Muskingum County chapter of the NAACP. Mr. Newman retired in 2006 and says the thing that excites him now is spending time with his grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
In my mind, if you look up father in the dictionary, there should be a picture of Phil Newman. I mean, he's been everything that a father should be, anything a kid could wish for in a father, he's been that for us. He was always there to love us, care for us, provide for us, and protect us as a family.
Because Uncle Phil has been a father for a guy who was raised with no father. He stepped up and he's been good to his children. He's been a role model for all of us. And he was more like a big brother to me than he was an uncle. And yet we've become very close. And now that my dad's going on, Uncle Phil's been like my father. He stands in as my dad around here. He's a hard worker. He's a man of integrity. And he certainly has been a great provider for his family. He's a role model for me, and he always has been from the time I was just a little guy until now, and he still is.
He always had time for his children, and he and Beverly, and she's a lovely person, and I don't know how she ever ended up with a reprobate like Phil, but she and Phil always had time for their children, their grandchildren, and anybody else's children that came along. And I respected him very much for that.
My upbringing with Phil was probably about 44 years ago when I met him and his family. Phil was real good to me. He treated me like a son. I call him Dad. He worked for the state for 20-some years. He helped get the community center up and running. He was the president of the Zanesville Esquire Club when I entered the club. To me, he's a good person in the community. He's good to me, and he's good to most of the kids around.
On behalf of me and my sisters, we appreciate everything you've done for us. And like I said before, we couldn't ask for a better father. I'll argue with anybody that there's not a better father out there. And we just appreciate everything you've done for us. I know that I'll be a good father, and for the reason because if I'm half the father that he was to me and my 4 sisters, I will be way ahead of the curve.
He's well deserving of the honor that the ForeverDads are bestowing upon him, because he is a great father.
I didn't have anything prepared, so I'd like to thank ForeverDads for this
really good honor. I'm really pleased. It's close to me because I did grow up without a father. My father passed away when I was 6 years old. But I was blessed with a loving mother, a Christian woman. Even though she was very sick, she had heart trouble. But I also was the baby of the family, so I had 4 brothers who kept me in line and an older sister who helped my mother quite a bit. And I got married at 19. I married my high school sweetheart. And this August we'll be married 56 years. So we've raised 5 kids, the best kids I could ever hope for. We have 7 grandchildren and 7 great-grandchildren. So with that, I'd like, again, to thank this organization for this great recognition. Thank you.
The next one, honoree, is Jack Downing. Ladies and gentlemen, watch the video.
Jack Downing is the son of Denzel and Vernice Downing and was born in Zanesville in 1932, the oldest of 3 children. After high school, Jack became manager of the family-owned farm implement business and married his high school sweetheart, Joanne Tom. 2 years later, Jack was drafted into the United States Army. Upon his return from the Army, Jack, along with his father and brother, formed the Downing Company, constructing homes and commercial buildings. Jack later became a lazy boy furniture dealer along with his son Joel, who was involved with many other business ventures as well. Jack and Joanne had 4 children, Joel, Jeff, Judy, and John. Currently, he has 21 grandchildren and 18 great-grandchildren. After the death of Joanne, Jack married his present wife, Gwen Curry, who brought 3 children and 6 grandchildren to their extended family. Jack was a founding member of the East Muskingum Water Authority. He also served on the Zanesville-Muskingum County Port Authority Board and was president of the Zanesville-Sertoma Club. He has served on the Muskingum County Community Foundation Board, the Bethesda Hospital Associate Board, and the Muskingum County Transportation Improvement Board. Jack was a recipient of the Dick Johnson Civic Leadership Award, and he is a member of the Lafayette Masonic Lodge. Jack loves restaurants.
When I first became a mother, I remember reading that the foundation to successful parenting could be summed up in 3 words: example, example, example. From his love of family, his faith, his work ethic, my dad is that example. Myself and all of our 8 children, at one time or another, have called Dad for advice or to help fine-tune papers, speeches, applications, sometimes late at night. He is always our go-to guy. I can never thank him enough, and I am so grateful to call Jack Downing my dad.
Since the day I was born 60 years ago, I knew that no matter how busy my father was, I was number one in his life. He would drop everything if I needed him. He's still that way. He's still my role model after all these years. I still call him every day. And if I ask his advice for something and he says, just keep doing what you're doing, then I know I'm on the right track.
I happen to be the beneficiary, probably the number 1 beneficiary of him giving me the opportunity and taking the risk with me. And for that, I say, Dad, thank you. That's probably one of the greatest things that you have done for me, is to invest in me and to give me the opportunity and take the risk with me. And I just want to thank you.
Jack holds family number 1 in his life, and he expected me to do the same. There are 2nd, 3rd, and 4th places, but nothing is going to hold that number 1 priority of family.
I wouldn't be who I am or where I am today if it wasn't for him. Whether it was him taking me to dance lessons as a kid, or helping me get into med school and all the craziness of that, or even being my inspiration to go into geriatrics today, I know I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for him.
What Jack really did for me, he was my mentor. He was the fellow that
I needed to lean on somebody to figure out a problem, Jack was always there. And Jack helped me in real estate deals, in the sign business, in the outdoor advertising business. He was always the guy that I said, hey, I got an idea. Yeah, well, here's another idea, add to it. We get it done. And Jack, he is one great friend. That's all I can say about Jack Downing. What a nice man, what a nice friend, what a great mentor.
It is impossible to narrow down in just a couple of snippets on a video a lifetime. A lifetime of investment, a lifetime of caring and of fatherhood, of trust, of being a dad. You can't do it. It's impossible.
As we shared our life stories, our grief, our joys, our children and grandchildren, our commitment to Christ, and our expectations for the autumn of our lives, I came to know a new and wonderful side of Jack Downing.
He reminded me a lot of my grandpa, so we kind of related pretty quickly, or I bonded with him pretty quickly over that. Them being in our lives really modeled what a family should be and how marriage should work, and they've really inspired us to model our lives after theirs, and to hopefully one day, 50 years down the road, be just like how they were with their grandkids, and we would love to turn out like that one day.
While I knew him as a hard-working, astute businessman and a dedicated community leader, I found him to be a man who cares most deeply about the basic things of life. His home, his family, his church, and just plain meat and potato meals.
But I do, from my heart, wish to look my dad in the eye tonight and say thank you. Thank you for all the years of being there with me, beside me, investing in your family, investing in your community. Well-deserved award for you tonight, Dad. Proud of you, and I love you.
For Jack, this event could be called a tribute to fatherhood, grandfatherhood, and great-grandfatherhood, a journey that began over 60 years ago for him. It is a privilege and a joy for me to be here with my husband of 500 days and his wonderful family to celebrate this well-deserved recognition. Congratulations, Jack. I love you very much.
We love you, Grandpa. Congratulations. You're the best.
Wow. Before I start, let's get a couple things straight. I know about half of that applause is because you know I'm last. The other second thing is, if it were not for my late wife, Joanne, I wouldn't be here. She was a wonderful wife and mother, and she always made me look better as a dad than I deserved. Excuse me just a minute here. I am both honored and humbled to receive this award and to be a part of this distinguished class. When Pat Kelly called me in Florida, I was sure he had the wrong number. Then he began his pitch, how I influenced my own children and lots of other people, even him. Wow, there's another wow. I had no idea. Just proves you never know who's watching and who's listening. Being a father is wonderful. And I'm really proud of all of our kids. Gwen and I are both proud of our kids. not for just who they are, but for what they have become. Being honored as a father is one thing, but being honored is over the top. It's like that maraschino cherry on top of the pile of whipped cream, on top of the big hot fudge sundae. It caps the climax. I certainly echo all the good things that have been said about fatherhood tonight. I was fortunate to have two great dads. My father, Denzel Downing, taught me how to work and to be honest. I began pumping gas at his Ohio station on Greenwood Avenue while in grade school. He died at age 67 from emphysema because he smoked from an early age. He is the reason I never smoked. If my dad taught me how to work, my father-in-law, Asa Tom, taught me a need to work. I married his daughter, Joanne. And over the years, I became the son he never had. He was my teacher in high school. He was my teacher in life. He always made being a gentleman seem so easy. I want to tell you what I think are the two most important things you need to do to be a good father. Now remember, my advice is all free, and you don't have to take any of it. It's not bad advice for moms and grandparents either. First, give your children all the exposure you can afford. All the exposure you can afford. Start early. Life is like trying to get through a patch of running briars. There's always something trying to reach out and stick you or trip you. Kids need people in their lives who can show them how to be socially interactive and teach them that life is to be respected and protected. Remember running outside at recess and finding all the swings taken? Or you wanted to be first batter, but somebody already was there. We had to learn to wait our turn. This was social interaction at an early age. Remember any of your grade school teachers? I do. Miss Hughes had me in first grade. Her sister Lucy kept house, and Maud, that was Miss Hughes, taught school. She was a delight, and we had a wonderful year. I had Miss Snoots in third grade. She was tough but fair. We learned a lot. But everyone feared sixth grade. Miss Mealick was a teacher and also the principal. She was in charge. If you saw her coming toward you on the playground, you tried to hide behind something, anything. If those three gals didn't have it right, I wouldn't be talking about them 75 years later. Then came junior high and high school, and the competition started. That's when we really began learning about winning and losing. It's so much more fun to win, but life has lots of losses too. I can't tell you how important it is for kids to learn how to win and how to lose gracefully. Did you watch Cam Newton after losing the Super Bowl? Not a good example. Southern Ohio is a wonderful place to raise a family. You can get lots of exposure here without very much cost. First of all, we have the change of seasons. People who move south miss that most of all. Within a day's drive of Zanesville, even a few hours, there's exposure galore. If you go north, you run right into the Great Lakes. Did you know that 20% of the fresh water in the world is in those 5 Great Lakes? And go south. We're on the Muskingum River, the largest river within the state of Ohio. You can get on a barge, you can get on a speedboat, you can get on a houseboat, you can get on a raft. You can go all the way to Marietta. And if you really got nerve, you can go on all the way to the Ohio River, or down the Ohio to the Mississippi. Then you can go on down to the New Orleans and go in the Gulf if you want to. If you go east for an hour or 2 or 3 or half a day, you're in the beautiful Appalachian Mountains. And within a day's drive, you're at the capital. And if you go west, we've got the Great Plains out there. Go 25 miles west from here, and it levels off nearly till Denver. The greatest breadbasket in the world. I believe if you turn the American farmer loose out there, we could put food in the belly of every hungry person in the world. And there are dozens of colleges and universities so when the kids get ready to pick what they want to do, they know what's out there. And don't forget exposure to one more important thing, the sanctuary of a church. During construction one time, we counted 13 churches in downtown Zanesville from the roof of Central Trinity Church. And that's just downtown. There must be 100 or more in the county. You feel a special peace, quiet, and reverence when you walk into any sanctuary, whether it's a large cathedral or Little Ark Springs Church down by the wilds. The feeling is the same, and it never changes. So give them all the exposure you can afford. The second thing is this, gets a little more testy. Be the best example you can be. Your kids are always looking up to you. From the first time you hold them, they are looking up at you. It never ends. So when they look up at you, make sure they can always be proud of what they see. Make sure you can always be proud of what they see. I want to tell you a very personal story. As Gwen and I flew up here yesterday, we were celebrating our 500th anniversary. Yeah, we've been married 500 days. At our ages, folks, we celebrate anything. We had both been widowed. She and Paul Curry had been married nearly 52 years, and Joanne and I had been married nearly 62 years. We had 113 years of experience. In the winter of 14, I was in Florida alone for the first time. And I remember telling the kids, if I had to live this way the rest of my life, I could do it. But man, the weekends and evenings are long. Eating alone sucks. Best way to put it. So what am I going to do? Surely somebody up here in the cold north would like to come down south in the wintertime. And so I'll tell you what I did. I got out our church directory. Man, I want to tell you something. There's a lot of widows in the church directory. So I would look through that thing a few times. And every couple of weeks I'd get it out and go through it again. Gwen Curry's name kept surfacing to the top. So finally, after several weeks, it was long toward spring, I got up enough nerve to call her. I called her several times. Every time, that little AT&T voice says, "I'm sorry, the number you've called has a box. It's full. Please call again." You know how that is. I didn't want to tell anybody what I was doing, but I'm going to have to if I'm going to find out where she is. I knew she worked crazy hours. I didn't think she died. So I called her son out at the battery store. Called out there about noon one day, and a young man answered. I said, "Is Kent there?" "No, he's not here, but he'll be back after a bit." So I told him who I was. He was very polite. Gave him my number, and sure enough, he called back in about half hour, 45 minutes. So I'm a bottom line guy. I just told Kent what I wanted. I wanted to know if his mother had any relationship with anybody, or if she would be available. If I'd come home, if I came home sometime, I wonder if she might like to have dinner. So he said, "Well, the answer is no. I don't think she has a relationship, and I don't know whether she would or not." It's the answer to the second question. I thought sure he'd give me her cell number. Said, no, he wouldn't give me her cell number. He said, "I'll have her call you." So this is like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm waiting there at the condo, and I thought, she'll call pretty soon. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. No call. Finally, about 5 o'clock, I got my call. So I asked her the same thing. I said, I'm a bottom line guy here. At my age, I couldn't go for a 5 or 10 year courtship. I just want to know if you'd be interested in having dinner if I came home. And we had a nice conversation. And that's how it all started. And you ask her after this is over, I haven't told you a lie. So she'd never been to South Florida. She'd been to Central Florida, never been to South Florida. So in 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, she got her schedule rearranged. She was working 2 jobs. She was working for Dr. Hibbler and also for a couple doctors up at Pickerington. So she's working 7 days a week, 77 years old. So she got her schedules arranged so she could come down to South Florida for a weekend. And we had a good time that first weekend. So we began talking on the phone every day. Eventually, we called it our AT&T romance. I was in Florida for that summer because we were doing work on our condo. So she came down the second time, and we talked every day. And one of the things we talked about after we got kind of serious about this thing was what we might do. How would we do like a lot of the kids do and like the older folks do now, just live together? We talked about that for a couple days. And then she came up with the key statement. She said, Jack, you and I have spent a lifetime trying to teach our kids and our grandkids what's right. We never talked about that again. From that time on, if we knew if we were going to be together, we were going to get married. So I began planning my little scheme, see? I figured the next time she comes down here, I'm going to pop the question. And we talked every day. So she came down that next time, and I hear my plan was I'm going to ask her if she wanted to take a walk on the beach. I knew she liked to walk on the beach. I don't walk on the beach because I have light complexion. I have skin cancer. My dermatologist says my body is one big basal cell. So I don't go out in the sun. So when I asked her if she'd like to go to the beach, we live pretty close to the beach, not very far. And I asked her if she'd like to take a walk on the beach. Oh, yeah, she's ready for that. So we did. We walked down to the beach. It was in the evening. It wasn't dark yet, quite, but getting close. Sun wasn't out. So we walked into the water up to about our knees or a little bit better. And you know, when you get out that far, that sand is kind of quick. You stand there very long, you're going to sink. So I thought, well, if she says no, I'll just give her a little push. She's going on. If she says yes, I'll bail her out. So by golly, she said yes. So we struggled and got back up on the shore. And that was a Sunday evening, and she was leaving on Monday. So she left smiling and began planning to have a wedding. And on September the 28th of 14, we got married. We called the preacher and told him we just wanted to get together with just an immediate family, just a little family wedding. So at 5:30 that evening on Sunday, we got together. We walked up into the church, walked up the steps, stood in the same location in front of the same altar, took the same vows that we had both taken in the same exact spot a half a century ago. And guess who stood up with us? All 6 of our kids. Kent, Karen, and Kevin next to their mother. Jeff, Joel, and Judy next to me. Even I was impressed. It was nice. So we had our little wedding, took some pictures, and our little wedding party of 65 went down to the Eagle Sticks and had dinner. Some of the guys had complained because it was Sunday and they were going to miss some of the football games. It was football season started. So she had one of the cakes was in the shape of a football. and the score on the football said, Denver 21, Cleveland nothing. I wasn't too happy about that, but it was probably true. Anyway, one amazing thing about this whole affair. Count with me. We have 6 children. We have 6 in-laws. That's 12. We have 27 grandchildren. That's 39. Half of those grandchildren either are married or have serious relationships. So there's 12, 13, 14, 15 more. So we're over 50. More than 50 people, direct children or grandchildren, in our family right now. And not one of those children, not one, ever gave us any objection. There was not one dissenter to this marriage. Not one. This day and age, I think that's amazing. You can hardly get 2 people to agree on anything, let alone 50. That's how it ended. I tell you this story for one reason only. You are never too old to set a good example. To any and all who had anything to do with this memorable evening, I thank you very, very much.
Finally, you have an opportunity to support the work of Forever Dads. We deliberately invite some of the fathers that we are working with to this event because they need to hear these stories. They need to hear a commitment of a 50-year and a 60-year marriage and a home of children who have a legacy of the same thing in their household. They never saw that. And you give them opportunity to see something that will inspire them to do right by their families and to be responsible dads. I want you to hear one of them in a brief video. This is the only testimony we have tonight about the work of Forever Dads. Watch the clip.
First came in contact with Burrow had to be in 2007. I was in Noble Correctional Institution, and we got a pass for all the Muskingum County inmates to come down there. And they were talking about, getting a program like this started in the community, helping out fathers and everything. I mean, to be honest, I just used the pass just to get out of the dorm for a little bit. I was looking for answers then. I wasn't real mature on, I was wanting to be a father, and I was a father. I wasn't mature. I was still messing up in my life. I thought I had everything together, but, young and dumb. At that point, I already knew about the program. I hadn't done anything with it yet. From the 2 times I had met Burrow before, I hadn't done anything with him. And, we went through a workbook. At first, it was just like, I had a big head. I knew what I was doing. You're not going to tell me how to, raise my son. You're not going to change me at all. I'm just here. It got me out of the dorm. I'm being honest. It just got me out of the dorm. Stuff just started sinking in. The workbooks that we did, the things that we discussed, it just really started sinking in. It really helped mature me a lot, more than just being a father, but just being a decent human being, treating people right. It was just a big wake-up call, and having Forever Dads behind me, backing me, helping me, giving me advice, it means everything. I have my son now. I've been out of prison now it'll be 4 years in May. Before I'm at my job, I bought a house. My son's getting straight A's in school. Plays every sport they got. I made a lot of changes. Forever Dads is a good thing. It helps a lot of people. It helps people get reconnected with their community, reconnected with their family. Have a grocery store here in town. It's a lot of positive things. A lot of positive things. Every child deserves their father
in their lifetime. And it is our business and our responsibility as a community and as leaders in this community to make sure that every child has a dad from their birth through their marriages. Let's do this.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above.
From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above.
From the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean wide with foam.
God bless America, my home, sweet home.
From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam.
God bless America, my home, sweet home, sweet home. God bless America.
God bless America.
America, my home, sweet home.
We'll call now David Morrow to provide the benediction of Ark Springs Baptist Church. Again, thank you for your generosity and support of Forever Dads. We certainly appreciate it. Burl, what's the date of next year? What's the date? Where'd you go?
Second Thursday in March.
Second Thursday of March of 2017, we'll be back here again. We and again ask and invite all the legacy fathers and families to come back and join us as we celebrate fatherhood once again. Thank you very much.
So now I get to explain why I'm wearing a green jacket. You might understand it better if I added the tie along with it, and then you would understand that it's to honor John Montgomery. And I know it looks funny with two ties, but it's part of this. See, the problem with being a dad is that it doesn't come with instructions. along with all the great jobs. They don't come with instructions. And, I did find, though, that it comes with motivation. If you look for it and you see it, and you let yourself be completely wrapped up in it. But still, sometimes it's hard. And so we have to, we're supposed to emulate like what a good dad looks like. But what's that look like? Because we're flawed, right? I think that sometimes the simplest things are the easiest things to see also, though. If we look toward heaven, where many of those good dads are at, then you see the picture of the perfect example of father. Not the distorted father that maybe we often are told to see. And you say, well, how do you know? You know because you look at the Creator's creation. You look at the fruit of the Father. Guys, especially us new fathers, which I'm pretty young at it. Why do I even get to talk to you guys that are seniors at it? God is good, that's why. But the thing I want us to take away from this, and you say, well, I thought he was up there to pray. I am, right now. See, it's not just what you do once in a while, right? It's your whole life. Everything is your worship. Everything is your prayer. Wow. And God said, let it be. But what we have to do is we have to take the best that we know from what was and make it work for us. I couldn't wear the 4-H tie tonight. I couldn't. I had to put something else on. I can make the green jacket work, but I had to do my own thing with it. And that's what we're scared to do a lot of times. If we think if we don't follow that model exactly, then we're going to fail. And then we get so focused on the model, we miss all the good stuff that we get to add to it. So I challenge you tonight. Fathers, specifically, I'm talking to you. Let us all be the kind of father that our kids want to spend eternity with. Let nothing we do come back void. These things I pray in your name, Jesus. Amen.